thank you so much for joining today's Needymeds special topic webinar, Mastering Your Emotional Health. My name is Carla. I'm the Director of Education at Needymeds. And before we kick off today's presentation, which I am personally really excited about, I want to go over just a few points. Please know that throughout the webinar, you can feel free to ask any questions by typing them into the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. But just know that we will reserve answering questions until the end. I also want to make a quick note. Our guest, who I'll introduce in just a moment, is a pharmacist, but I will put out one quick disclaimer. She is not able to answer any pharmacy or drug-related questions. So just a heads up about that. Please note, however, if you do ask a question and we don't have the time to answer it at the end of the webinar, we will follow up with you personally via email by tomorrow. And of course, we will provide our contact information as well. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the Needymeds YouTube page. And we try and convert it into a video pretty quickly, so you can expect it on the YouTube page within a couple of days. Also, in the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel, you will see a copy of my PowerPoint presentation. So with that, let's get started. For those of you that are not familiar with Needymeds, went by too quickly with that. That slide is just just points out what our updated mission statement is. Basically, Needymeds is a national nonprofit that connects people free and anonymously through our website and helpline to programs that will help them save on or afford their healthcare expenses. And as you can see on that slide, a big piece of our mission is educating people. And we really define education in two ways. The first way, certainly by letting people know about Needymeds and educating them about the ways we can help. But the second way we define the education portion of our mission is by educating people about other ways to stay healthy, which is why we are so pleased to be presenting this special topic webinar, Mastering Your Emotional Health. And before I move into that, what you're looking at on your screen right now is just a snapshot of the Needymeds homepage. And I really put that up because our website is the face of our organization. I wanted to point this out because on the very top right-hand side, you'll see a bunch of social media icons. The third one from the left is the link to our YouTube channel. I wanted to point that out since I mentioned this webinar will be converted to a video and posted on our YouTube channel. That's where you can find us. So let's talk about today's special topic webinar, again, Mastering Your Emotional Health. So in an effort to empower women during Women's Health Week, this 20-minute webinar will focus on how to manage and track your emotional health online for free. This webinar will review things such as tracking and analyzing your mood, exercise, and eating behaviors. And this webinar will be led today by our friend, colleague, and pharmacist, Zana Toulany from Health Storylines. So first, let me tell you a bit about our partner, Health Storylines. Health Storylines is a self-care app that helps you take control of your health. Storylines can act certainly as your medication reminder, symptoms and vital tracker, pain rating scale, but today, Zana is going to focus on how this free online tool can help you manage and track your emotional health. So now let me tell you a little bit about our guest. Again, our guest name is Zana Toulany. She's a pharmacist and currently the Director of Patient Experience at Self-Care Catalysts, where she manages digital health tools that empower people to become more active participants in their own care. She has also developed and deployed innovative health and wellness solutions for thousands of Canadians, resulting in improved health outcomes across over 2,000 locations while working for Canada's largest pharmacy retailer. By background, Zana is a registered pharmacist and has helped thousands of people achieve healthier and happier lives. She earned her bachelor's degree in pharmacy and cognitive psychology at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And I always mention this. I'm so jealous of that because one of my dream destinations is Nova Scotia. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic and the screen, hopefully seamlessly, to Zana. So bear with us while we do that. And she will be able to take away the presentation. Again, and Zana, you should be able to grab the screen. And again, the heads up to our attendees today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them by typing them into that questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. With that, I'll pass the mic to Zana. Enjoy today's presentation, and thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you, Carla, for the warm welcome. I am really excited to be here and to celebrate Women's Health Week with you. Just a little preface. I mean, if there are any men listening, by all means, we encourage you to participate and listen. This is a webinar on emotional health, so it benefits both women and men. So at the end of this 20-minute webinar, you will have everything you need to completely master your emotional health. It sounds a little crazy, but I'm here to tell you that it's possible and it's not even that difficult. So today in 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you 6 very easy but very specific tasks for you to complete. And as I share these tips with you, I really encourage you to write them down, maybe on a sticky note or on your computer or on your phone, whatever you'll look at frequently, just so that you can remember what the tips are. So by training, as Carla said, I'm a pharmacist. However, people often call me their therapist. And so, as you can imagine, many people count on me to help them manage their medications, their disease, their health. But what people don't know is that most of the time, I'm actually counseling people on their emotions, and I'm helping them solve their personal problems, because if they're not in control of their emotional health, then how can I expect them to be in the right state of mind to benefit from any medical advice? I mean, everyone wants to change how I feel. If you think about it, the only reason why anyone does anything is because they want to change how they feel. So for example, perhaps you go to the gym 5 days a week, and you're not just doing this to lose weight. You're doing it because it'll make you feel more attractive. It'll make you feel more confident. Perhaps it'll encourage you to ask that person out on a date, or perhaps it'll encourage you to go to that job interview. Or maybe you want to make more money, not just to make money, not just to have cash in the bank, but because it's going to make you feel more successful and more powerful, and maybe even buy that new house, which will make you feel more happy. And so emotional health, as you can see, is very important. It influences all of our decisions and our state of being and what we choose to do and concentrate our time on. And so I'm going to get started. We don't have too much time, but I can definitely squeeze it all in today. I have on the background here an image from our website on health storylines. I'll show you a little bit of that after and how you can use it. It's a free tool to help you manage your health. But let's get started with the tips. So the first tip is important, and it's to get your sweat on. This tip is first for a reason. So if you're constantly under stress for any reason, whether it's work or relationships or family problems, your body can be exposed to higher than normal levels of a hormone that we call cortisol, which can contribute to low mood and depression. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of this hormone before at some time or another. And there's actually evidence that states that exercising, like jogging, swimming, going biking, walking, gardening, and dancing, can actually reduce your cortisol levels and have been proven to reduce anxiety and depression. And so when you exercise and when you're sweating and getting your heart rate up to a certain amount, you're actually increasing your blood flow, you're increasing your circulation, and that's all going to your brain. So your body starts to release more of these natural feel-good types of chemicals like dopamine while you're working out, and serotonin after you work out. But the benefits for improved mood don't just happen when you exercise. Exercising regularly can help to prevent your risk of developing depression. And so regular exercise can help you feel happier because the amount of feel-good hormones released in your brain actually increases in amount. So the concentration of those hormones increases. There's even evidence that states that certain areas of your brain that are responsible for mood or that have an influence on mood, like your hippocampus, can actually grow a little bit if you exercise. And so there's a lot of theories around this. It's a really interesting space. But the point is to get out there, get moving, and get a sweat on. Tip number 2 is to get more sleep. Go count sheep and fall asleep. Sleep and mood are very closely connected. Poor sleep can actually leave you feeling very irritable and stressed. I'm sure most of you listening are probably nodding your head right now. Healthy sleep, on the other hand, can leave you feeling calm, more prepared for the day. There's even evidence that shows that chronic insomnia can increase your chances of developing anxiety disorders or even major depressive disorder. And so this is serious. You need a certain amount of sleep, and everyone is different. You probably know how much you need. Typically, adults need around 7.5 hours, but again, everyone is different. Just listen to your body. If you wake up tired, it means you need more sleep. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, yes, like I can make more time for sleep, but I can't fall asleep. Or maybe you're thinking, Zana, okay, good tip, but I can't stay asleep. And so I don't have time to talk about all of the ways in which I can help you with those things. But if you Google something called sleep hygiene or speak to any of your healthcare providers about it, they'll be able to help. However, one of the key things that you can do to help you sleep better is to exercise daily and tire yourself out. I mean, it makes sense. If you tire yourself out through exercise, you're not only going to help improve your mood, but you're going to be able to sleep better, which will also help your mood. Also, an easy one, don't forget to turn your screens off at least 1 hour before bed. Now, the third tip is a little bit unusual, but hear me out. So it's to shop the edges of the grocery store. Now, this tip is here to remind you and encourage you to eat clean. You need to know what you're putting in your body. And so a lot of processed foods with unnecessary chemicals and ingredients are typically packaged in boxes and usually can be found in the middle of the grocery store. I mean, think of the grocery store that you currently go to. Most of them have the same layout. I mean, you walk in, there's the beautiful fresh produce and vegetables on maybe the left, on the sides of the grocery store. If you continue, you find the fish and the meat, and if you continue onwards in a circle, you find the dairy and the eggs, probably in fridges. However, if you dare to venture to the grocery store when you're hungry, you may end up in the middle of the grocery store among all of those aisles of really delicious packaged chocolate chip cookies and Tostitos and all that other really yummy stuff. But if you look at an ingredient label, and if you actually don't know what the ingredient is, or if you can't pronounce it, then how can you expect your body to know what to do with it? And so I'm a big believer in trying your best to eat as clean as possible. It's not saying that you can't have snacks or cheap snacks or go have ice cream, but just try to eat things that in general are less processed. So that would be my third tip for you. My fourth tip is really fun. You need to go and pamper yourself. Why? Because then you'll feel good if you're pampering yourself. I mean, don't you love how good your feet look after a pedicure, or perhaps how relaxed you feel after going to the spa? So if you can't afford to treat yourself by going to a fancy spa, then don't worry about it. Just throw some maybe olive oil, sugar into a bowl, squeeze a little lemon, maybe an egg white, mix it up, and do a homemade facial scrub. Get creative. You can pamper yourself. You don't have to be loaded and very wealthy to treat yourself. Or maybe you can wear something that makes you feel beautiful, or if you wear flats to work, maybe change it up and wear heels one day. Did you know that when women who appear on the front page of Cosmopolitan wear heels during the photo shoot, the photos turn out better and they're more confident? I mean, if you look at a Cosmopolitan magazine cover, they don't show their feet. It's just a picture of their face. And so it's really just to say that you need to make yourself feel good. Whatever that is, find it. It's important to put yourself first. 2 more tips left. So the 5th one is talk to your companion. And when I say companion, I don't necessarily just mean your spouse. You don't need to have a spouse to follow this tip. Although if you do, that's helpful as well. You can talk to your family, your friends, or you can even hire someone like a therapist or a counselor, which I highly recommend. I mean, a lot of therapists and counselors are covered by different drug plans. So I would definitely look into that if it's something that you need. If you feel like you need a little bit more, little extra support outside of your family, it's an option. And it's important to know that you're not alone and that you have support. I mean, mastering your emotional health doesn't mean that you have to master it on your own. The sixth one, and our last tip, and our most important tip, is to make progress. Now, I learned this from Tony Robbins. It's really important that you have goals in life, not just that you have them in life so that you achieve them, but so that you have a purpose and so that you have something to work towards so that you can make progress. For example, let's say you have a goal of losing 20 pounds. It feels good when you start to see the weight come off. So let's say you start losing 1 pound one week, and then another pound another week, and then a few weeks go by, you lose 1 more pound. You're making progress. Progress equals happiness. You're getting closer to your goal. So when you do write your goals, or if you haven't made any goals, I encourage you to write them down and make some. Think about the steps that you want to take to get there so that you can really feel what that feels like to make that personal progress for things that are important to you. I mean, maybe you want to go back to school to be a teacher. Perhaps you work in banking and you don't like it and you find it boring and you really want to go and teach. Write down what progress means to you. Maybe you start applying to teacher schools, getting in the program of your choice, graduating, landing your dream job. Just write down whatever steps would be applicable for you to make progress on your own goals. Now, those are the 6 tips that I have for you, but you're probably wondering, okay, so 6 tips, Zana's telling me if I follow these, then I will be a master of my emotional health. But how do I do that? Like, I don't have Zana on speed dial here, so what can I do about it? Well, you can use the app that we've developed. It's free. There are over 50,000 people using this across the world, US, Canada, Australia, the UK. You can use it on your phone. You can use it online. It's really simple. When you register, this is what it looks like. This is the home screen. You'll see a bunch of different really neat health tools here. So medication, moves, vitals, etc. Menu is on the left-hand side. So if I click on my picture, you can see that's me. Hello, I'm Zana. I've added in some make-believe conditions here. It's important to enter in your conditions because then the app is actually tailored to you. So you just write it in here. So maybe if I write down depression, I can add that. Diagnose this year, let's say, and I add it. If I go back here, I'm going to have tools that are related to the depression and managing the mood. So let me just show you 2 quick tools today so I can show you how to actually manage your emotional health using health storylines. I'm going to click here on the second health tool, this box called Daily Moods. This is my favorite. This is one of the most popular features in the app. I click on it, or I can use it online as I'm doing now. And it's asking me, how am I feeling? I don't need to write down anything. All I need to do is click a face. Let me see. Today I am actually feeling very inspired because there's almost 100 people listening right now, which is pretty exciting across the US. So I'm going to click inspired. Really happy and thankful that everyone is here today. Thankful for today's webinar. I can write notes if I want. I don't have to. Click done. And then I can actually track my mood over time. This automatically shows me how my mood has changed over time. You can see I was very happy on the weekend. Did a lot of housework with my fiance. It was really fun. Monday came along. I was excited. Tuesday was good. Wednesday was good. But if you start to notice a pattern where on certain days of the week, perhaps you're upset, or maybe it's the weekends that you're upset on, it's a good way to analyze yourself and understand your mood better, because maybe you don't realize how sad you are, or maybe you don't realize how upset certain things make you, or what makes you happy. And so it's really important to be able to track your mood in that way. Another feature that is really helpful is the My Journal tool. So if I click on that, it's just right here in yellow, called My Journal, and it says document your thoughts around your health and daily living. Think of health storylines as your personal health diary that goes everywhere with you. It's private, it's secure, you can write whatever you want, and you don't have to go home and find your journal to write in. You can literally write in it right now at work. So let's see. You can write anything. Very grateful for today's webinar and tips. Add to journal, et voila, it's done. And so I can actually go back and look at any of my responses over time. I can look at my summary of all of my health, my journal, my moods. And so perhaps in another webinar, I'll cover more of the features in health storylines, but there are a lot of different tools that you can use to help manage your emotional health and even write down your 6 tips in your to-do list here, which I have up on the screen, which I'll leave for you there so that you can also write them down. And with that, Carla, I'm gonna pass the screen back over to you. And thank you everyone for your time. I really hope that you found this helpful. Don't forget the 6 tips. Use Health Storylines. It's free and easy to use. And until next time, thanks everyone.
Zana, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with the Needymeds audience, and thanks to our audience for being so engaging. We're getting a lot of feedback via the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And again, just a reminder, if you do have any questions for Zana, you can type those into the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. One of the couple of things I just want to bring to your attention. We do have a bunch of questions coming in for Zana, and before I pass those along, I do want to remind everybody that Needymeds is also here to support you. Sometimes an obstacle in taking care of yourself, whether it's your physical or emotional health, is just getting access to the medications or healthcare expenses that your doctor suggests. So please know that Needymeds is here to help you. There's just a snapshot of some of our most popular and effective cost savings programs. So don't hesitate to visit our website or reach out to our expert call center counselors. Also, since I have a captive audience, I'll do a little plug for our other upcoming special topic webinars, and you could register for those and other upcoming ones throughout the rest of the year in the bottom right hand of the Needymeds calendar of events. Now, while I start taking questions for Zana, I want to put up the contact information for Health Storylines and mention just a couple of things. You'll notice that today's webinar, along with those 6 tips that I will ask Zana to repeat one more time because our audience asked that, the Health Storylines app, again, just a reminder, does a whole bunch of other things to help you along your healthcare journey. It's a medication reminder. You can track your symptoms. You can track your vitals. It even has a pain rating scale. And just a heads up, it also syncs with wearable devices like your Fitbit. And it has the Needymeds drug discount card conveniently preloaded into the app. So just a heads up about that, and I'm going to start fielding some questions to Zana. One of the first things, Zana, is if you wouldn't mind just saying aloud those 6 tips one more time.
Absolutely. Carla, can you share the screen and pass that back to me? I'm going to relay it on the screen.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Let me pass the screen, everybody, and thanks for your patience, because I'm going to pass the screen right back to Zana, and then she can put up, and why don't we leave that up, actually?
Yeah,
we'll leave that up.
Okay, so the 6 tips, it's on the screen as well, but for audio purposes, the first one is to get your sweat on. The second one is to get more sleep. The third one is to shop the edges of the grocery store. The fourth one is to pamper yourself. The 5th one is to talk to your companion. And then the last one, but the most important one, is to make progress.
Thank you so much. And for our audience, we're going to go ahead and leave that screen up because I find it really helpful as well. Some other questions are coming in, and just the reminder to our audience members, we do have a lot of questions. We're not going to spend tons of time on questions, so if we don't get the chance to answer yours, don't forget we will follow up with you personally via email by tomorrow. So, Zana, one of the questions coming in, and this is an important one, is can I use health storylines on my phone?
Yes, good question. Absolutely. So you can check it out on the Google Play or the App Store. You can also use it online. So you just go to healthstorylines.com. This is what the website looks like. It kind of explains a little bit about ourselves, all the different things that you can track. If you just click see it on the web app or these buttons, it'll direct you to whichever modality you want to use.
Thank you so much. And I also want to mention to our audience, I am not a tech savvy person at all, and I am not inclined to use apps. And I use the Health Storylines app, and I find it very intuitive and simple to use. So
Well,
thank
thank
you
you,
for that,
Carly.
Zana.
No problem.
Oh, here's another great question. Can I add my friends in the app using Health Storylines? I want to be able to talk to them.
Oh, yes, absolutely you can. So if you look at the menu on the left-hand side, I'm going to point my clicker to a button called the Circle of Support. It's the third option down. I'm going to click that, and then it's going to take me to this screen that says the Circle of Support, which is really just that. I can add whoever I want, and it's all secure because I choose who I want to be added. So I can just put down Carla at Needymeds, and then .org, and then submit, and then she'll get that invite to join, and then I can choose if I want to even share my moods with her or my health information. I can even chat with them with the message feature as well.
Really helpful, and again, really simple. Another question coming in, and this will be our last question because we wanted to make today's webinar quick, but again, if we didn't get the chance to answer yours, you will hear back from us via email by tomorrow. The last question of today's presentation is, can you show me how to track my exercise using Health Storylines?
Absolutely, I can. And so you can track a lot of things using Health Storylines. One of them, of course, is exercise. If you just click here in the menu on My Health Tools, it'll take you back to the home screen. In the home screen, you'll see a variety of different tools, but there isn't an exercise tool. And so to add that, you have to add it from the library. So I'm just going to click this button here, this plus sign, and there's a bunch of categories that I can choose from. I'm going to click physical activity. I'm going to click on the exercise diary tool. I'm going to click add, and then I've added it to my home screen. And so that's how easy it is to add a tool. I'm going to go in there, so into the exercise diary, and I'll click on that square. And then I can track anything I want, really. I can put in, perhaps last evening I did calf raises. I can put down that did this at Good Life. Okay, total length of exercise. I did about 20 minutes, maybe let's say, of exercise. And I can actually do this back in time. So I could even put yesterday, May 15th. I click done. And then everything is saved. That took me maybe 5 seconds, and I added in more details than I probably needed to. You can track everything. Just quickly, one more thing that people tend to ask that go along with the exercise diary is the meal tracker. So if I click into the meal tracker, it's really easy for me to keep track of what I'm actually eating to make sure that it is clean. So let's say this morning, let's say I had myself avocado toast, which is apparently a new food group these days. So I'm going to click done. There we go. There's a picture of my smashing avocado toast. And so this just goes to show you that you can track pretty much anything using this tool.
Thank you so much. And Zana, I'm so glad you had the opportunity to point out the versatility of this app, which is that in the real world, certainly everybody's goal is to track as you go throughout the day. But we know sometimes lifestyle doesn't allow for that. So I think it's really important that you're able to go back and track what you did the day before or maybe earlier in the morning. I found that to be really useful and versatile. So although there are other questions coming in, since we're coming right up on that half-hour mark, we're going to have to go ahead and wrap up. I will leave you with the contact information for Health Storylines on your screen. And at the bottom, of course, there's the contact information for Needymeds as well. There is a copy of my portion of the handout section, my portion of today's presentation, the handout section. But again, more importantly, Zana's presentation, you will be able to find it uploaded onto the Needymeds YouTube channel, and we'll do that as soon as we can. Thanks so much, everybody, for taking time out of what I'm sure is a busy day to learn about the Health Storylines app. And I can tell by our audience responses that you're about as excited about this app as I am. We are so thrilled to be able to have this partnership. And of course, thank you so much, Zana, for taking time to share not only your expertise, but your enthusiasm. Thanks, everybody. And I hopefully you'll be able to spend the next little bit downloading this app and getting to work with it. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy your day. Thanks, Zana.
Thank you. Bye.